Good morning, Savannah. It's Monday, May 4th, 2020, and welcome to Savannah Community Headlines Live. I'm Marjorie Young and guest host with Carmel Hearn this morning.
Good morning, Marjorie. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. So, Carmel, today we have two guests that are going to join us. One's going to be talking about a big award giving to an organization that is moving the needle for healthy choices in Savannah. And another guest helps children with autism and disabilities through the power of horses. So let's jump right in before we pull our guest off and go through some of our headlines. One of the first things that I want to mention is the mayor is asking everybody to please be counted with census. Every Friday night, he has a power hour on his Facebook. And he keeps reiterating, if we are not counted, we are not going to get federal funding that we need in this area. So all you have to do is go to 2020census.gov and get counted. It's that simple. So Carmel, how about you?
Well, I want to just say it's very easy to do to get counted, and it's also in the Constitution. So, it's our constitutional right to do it. But let me tell you about some other good news. It's about In-Market. And In-Market is a Savannah-based convenience store chain, of course. But they have bought the former Tiger Express store in Beaufort. And now they've brought their total number of outlets in South Carolina to 50 stores. That's really impressive. And this location is going to undergo some more comprehensive renovations before the end of this year. But one of the things that they're doing there that's just really exciting is they have this a technology-based amenity called Skip Frictionless Checkout.
That is so cool. Literally, if you haven't used Skip technology, you seriously pick up the phone and you go into the store. Let's say you're going to buy a bottle of water. You scan it and you hit pay, and then you show the cashier that you bought it, and you walk out the door. I mean, you don't have to get near anybody, and it's perfect during this pandemic. So that's a really cool feature that they have.
Mm-hmm. It sure is. And one thing I mentioned the remodeling, but they'll be staying open throughout the entire thing. So if you're heading in that direction, it's very convenient and a great place to stop in for your fuel and your food and other needs that you might need to get when you're on the road.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've got another community headline. The University of Georgia Small Business Development Center has a free webinar, and it's going to be tomorrow, Tuesday at 2. I like that. The series is get insight on the state of Savannah's tourism industry now and what lies ahead on the road ahead. So, but the only thing is you have to register. You can call them at 651-3200. That's area code 912-651-3200. And of course, the University of Georgia Small Business Development Center is a fabulous free resource for all the small business owners watching. They do mentoring with you. And
what great work they do there. It's just so wonderful that we have this resource right here.
Yeah, I've actually been with a mentor. They have been mentoring me since 1995 when I started my company. And of course, I'm very involved with SBDC and SCORE, which is also another free resource for small business owners. Mm-hmm. So anyhow, do you have another one?
Yes, we're all going to remember Mama this week coming up, right? Sure. But hospice. Oh, and I have to do a shout out to my mom. She's having a birthday this week as well. So happy birthday, Mom. But at Hospice Savannah, they're inviting everyone to share stories of their mother from the comfort of your own home. Now, normally, they would have an event, but right now, because of the pandemic, Hospice Savannah will present its annual We Remember Mama benefit for the organization's story-keeping program as a virtual event. And this is scheduled for May 7th, and that's this Thursday coming up, right before Mother's Day, from starting at 6 p.m. So, of course, we have all the information for you to get more information about it, right here on Community Savannah Headlines. So Savannah Community Headlines. I'll get it right.
Live. I love
live. Yes.
it's a great way to just go a little bit deeper into what's happening in our unbelievable, wonderful Savannah community. Okay, so we're going to bring on Paula Kreissler now. She is the Executive Director of Healthy Savannah. Welcome, Paula. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Marjorie Carmel. I am doing well. We are doing all the right social distancing and all the things we're supposed to be doing, and I'm well. Thank you.
Tell us what your community headline is.
Our community headline is that we just received from the Healthcare Georgia Foundation the Joseph D. Green Community Collaborative Award for, it's a statewide award for the work that we do in the community with the community.
That's wonderful.
Oh, that
Yay.
It's so exciting. Yeah, it's like, anyway, yeah, it's been an exciting week for sure. It was announced last Monday, and so here we are today getting ready to being able to tell the world about it. So thank you for having us on.
Paula, you and your team have been moving the needle for over 10 years. I mean, you are doing actual measurements of how Savannah's getting healthier. You want to talk about some of those?
Well, the one that we, just let me just tell everyone out there what we do, because there's a lot of folks that know about Healthy Savannah, but a lot of folks that don't. So my little short speech that I always say is that we are a social movement. We're not a program. We're not a project. We want the healthy choice to be the easy choice for everyone in our community, regardless of their age, their ability, their income level, or their neighborhood. So the keywords there are the healthy choice, be the easy choice. So in that respect, so we work around really long-term positive health outcomes relative to policy systems and environmental change. And so what that means is that we try to work with everyone across the community, from our the citizens, all the organizations. We have over 200 public-private partners, and our policymakers, to do big picture changes that are evidence-based, that really provide healthy choices to be easy. So one of our first big, what I would call wins, was actually back in 2010, 2011. So we're talking almost like 9 years now. So 10-9, where Savannah passed a very strong smoke-free air ordinance in our community. And what happens when when it's done well, is that the deaths and death rates due to heart attack and heart disease drop. Well, in Chatham County, compared to the rest of the counties in the Coastal Health District, simply from implementing that policy change, and then Chatham County followed, Pooler followed, the university system followed, the hospitals are obviously right there with us, the school district. So that's what you call a social movement, is when you get everybody kind of moving in a direction. And so that's really exciting. But anyway, it has plummeted in Chatham County by over 36% in those last 9 years. It's just been really phenomenal to watch. In fact, we're one of the lowest. We used to be one of the highest rates in all of the Coastal Health District, but now we are we have the best numbers relative to deaths and death rates due to heart attack and heart disease. So that's been very, very exciting.
I can see why Healthy Savannah is an award-winning organization. I mean, that's science-based. That's really huge. Congratulations, Paula.
Well, thank you. I would love to tell you about one more big picture thing that's happening right now, is that, so a lot of folks have recently, there's what's called the Truman Linear Park Trail, which is a 6-mile planned bicycle and pedestrian path that connects Lake Mayer with Daffin Park. A lot of people know about that. A lot of people don't. But anyway, it is currently under construction, and it's almost nearly paved for the first half of it, from Lake Mayer to right at Duran Avenue. In fact, I've been out on it on weekends with my 2-year-old Doberman, Breezy, who just came to say hello. So anyway, and so all right, Breezy. Hey, Breezy, easy Breezy, that's right.
Easy,
This is happening all over the universe. We know this. It's either kids or puppies. But anyway, we have been able to go out and walk the that paved section on the weekends because there's still workers going on. There's still stuff happening, construction during the week. But it's paved, but it is the first leg. And so this is what we're talking about. This systems change is of the first leg of now what we call Tied to Town. And it's a 30-mile loop around the entire community that crosses through all aldermanic districts and all but one Chatham County Commission district. So, but it's the tied to the Truman Linear Park Trail is just the first segment, which will, so right now the first 3 miles are about complete. The next 3 miles will be completed by the city, hopefully next year. And then we're working very diligently to continue that 30-mile. But one of the most important things that we do is we engage the community around what it looks like for them. And that the community has been asking for this type of facility, because I don't want to call it an amenity, because it's not an amenity for a lot of folks. It's definitely a need, because we have a lot of folks in our community that are low wealth, don't have a car to get to work, and this is just a place for safe transportation, but at the same time, it's an activity-friendly route to everyday destinations. So we're very excited about that.
Are you expecting the bike rate to the amount of people biking to go up to like come from Isle Hope and commute downtown?
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, there's no question about it. And walking too. In fact, this not unfinished trail. I mean, it's not been, even people haven't seen that in the news yet, but there are people on it with their families, with bikes and kids and strollers and puppies.
So we'll be able to have a dog on it?
Yes, absolutely. On a 6-foot leash. That's the ordinance in our community. So yes, so Breezy stays on a 6-foot leash.
Gosh, well, Paula, thank you for all that wonderful good news. And seriously, thank you for moving the needle in the right direction with keeping everybody, our community, healthy. I mean,
well,
these are
it's
really
my passion, and you know that. It's just it's the work that I would never have dreamed I would be doing, but I'm so excited to be part of this entire social movement to build a culture of health. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So next we have Bonnie Rachael. She is the CEO and founder of Faith Equestrian Therapeutic Center. Coming on. There she is, Bonnie.
Morning, Bonnie.
Headlines Live. Tell us a little bit about Faith Equestrian. What do you guys do?
Well, we use horses to help kids that have special challenges, whether it be physical, mental, or emotional. Right now we're paused, but we're going to hopefully open back up in June. We're thinking positive.
Yes, absolutely. And you have a fundraiser going on right now. I mean, even though the kids aren't coming out, you still need to feed the horses and,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And actually we have a skeleton staff, so to speak. And we have an instructor that's actually doing little virtual lessons, if you can believe that, with horses. They can do it with our kids, and to keep them interested. And our volunteers are getting training virtually, so that when we start back up, we won't miss a beat. So
excellent. So for the folks watching Community Headlines Live right now, what would you like to ask them to do?
Well, with the virtual 5K that we've got going on, we had to cancel a big golf tournament due to the crisis, and we lost a lot of funding. So we came up with a virtual 5K, and what you can do is, and it's going for 2 weeks. It just started. And you can run or walk anytime during this 2-week period till the 15th. Get your best time and turn it in. And you just register on our website. If we can get a link to that or something, I can, But if you register on our website, it's $30. And if 4 people want to do it, it's a savings. It's $100. And run around your house, chase your kids, do it on the treadmill. It's fun. And we added a little extra fun thing to that, because we know we're going to get some time ties. And so we asked people to dress in a theme, a horse theme, or do something really funny, and, take a picture with you and your running suit and your best theme. And that we're going to vote on that. And So the person with the best time, if we have a tie, then they'll vote on, that'll be the tiebreaker. And then we're also going to do a separate thing just for the themes. And so we're going to have prizes for walk, prizes for run, and prizes for the costumes. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And it is a lot of fun. We've had some pictures already coming up on Facebook. People have done already. And we're going to post everybody on Facebook as we go along on our event. So you get to share that with your friends and everything. So I'm very excited about it and hoping that this will help us get through this pandemic.
Absolutely. Bonnie, one of my favorite stories, and I want you to tell it, was about the little boy named David who had autism and had never spoken a word until.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We had a little child, and we'll call him David. He came into our program at 6 years old, and his mother had never heard him speak. And when we bring him in for assessments and evaluations before we start him in the program. And so we asked the parent, we asked the mother, what is your goal for your child? We have goals, but what is your goal for your child? And she said, I've never heard my child speak at 6 years, and I really would like to hear him speak. And he was a nonverbal child with autism. So we started his lessons. It took a few months, and we would only work with a simple phrase like walk on. And we found that he really loved the motion of the horse. The motion of the horse with children with autism, it calms them down. It helps them to focus. It's just amazing to see. I mean, I invite y'all to come out and see that sometime. But we would, every lesson, we would always say, okay, now tell the horse to walk on. We'd stop the horse, and he didn't like the horse stopping. So it was a motivator. It's like, he wanted that horse to go. And so, one day we were doing his lesson, and I had him stop the horse, and we sat there a minute, and he's moving around, and I said, all right, now tell the horse to walk on. We've been doing this a while. You can do this. And he looked around, and he looked around, and the horse wouldn't move. And finally he says, walk on. He didn't just say it.
Seriously.
He yelled it.
That's great.
We all broke into tears. His mom was in tears. His mom was crying.
Yes.
It's just, and ever since then, we have miracles every day out there. And he, of course, continued to speak in whispers, and he's progressed through school, and it has become verbal. And that was his breakthrough,
I've always heard that the horses hold a really, it's almost magical power for healing. Not, a lot of folks. I mean,
they mirror your feelings. And another thing that we're working on trying to get we had a therapist, a mental health therapist. We want to get another one in there. For mental health therapy, horses are just awesome. A client can be with the therapist, out with the horse, and you can't help to be vulnerable around a horse. You get out there and you start petting them, and your guard comes down, and the horse pays attention to you, and and next thing you know, the horse might have some kind of reaction, and the therapist will say, well, what was that all about? And the client might say, well, she's sad. And well, why is she sad? And then it opens up a whole dialogue that the client's able to do better in that environment than sitting in an office. Mm-hmm. It's just amazing, because the horses mirror your feelings, whether you're angry, whether you're sad. I had a lady that had been abused. She was a victim of abuse. And we went out into a field to introduce her to the horses, and she gravitated. She didn't even know it. She gravitated to this one horse that we had rescued that had been abused.
Wow.
And she said, that's what I want to work with. And the horse had a scar on her face. And so that helped her to heal with her therapist. So,
Bonnie, what is your background with horses? I know it goes way back to the city of Savannah, doesn't it?
It goes back almost as long as when I was playing music. It is, I started with horses when I was 17 years old at the old Wicklow stables behind Johnny Harris. And there were a couple there. There were a couple of ladies there. I was kind of a wayward kid. I had no direction. And I wandered over to this place one day because of my love of horses. and met these ladies, and they kind of took me under their wing, and they taught me what responsibility was. I wanted to ride horses, and they said, oh, well, if you clean stalls and you can ride a horse, well, that was a motivator. And one thing led to another. I wanted a horse, and they said, well, if you want a horse, you're going to have to pay rent. Well, it motivated me to get a job. And so I think that's where the seeds were planted for me for the therapeutic center that I do now today. They were two wonderful ladies.
Mm-hmm. Weren't you with the city horse-mounted police something?
Yeah, I was a city of Savannah police officer for 15 years. I love my job. I love the city. But putting me on a horse and riding in the squares was just the best thing in the world. I love meeting the public, and people were drawn to the horses, of course, and to be able to walk around the squares and, protect people, and people could see you highly visible. And that was an awesome job. Yeah. Yes.
How did you make the transition from that to Faith Equestrian? What was the motivator?
Well, I was about to retire from police work, and I've got over 40 years plus of horses are all I know, and I knew could never make any money with it. But I would ask God, what can I do to give back, to society? What I want to do something. How can I give back? I had a little 5-acre farm and 3 horses, and I went to church one day, and one of my friends who knew I had horses gave me a magazine article and said, you need to read this. And it was about a therapeutic riding center in South Carolina. And it was like God touched my heart. It makes me want to cry. But it was like he told me, this is what I want you to do. And
cool. Beautiful. Gosh, and just think of all the kids that you have helped since you started.
Yeah, we've gone now we started in
gosh, you're gonna make me cry.
We started in 2006 with 3 horses and 2 children, and on the 5-acre property, and we've grown to, we bought the property next door, so we have 10 acres. We serve about 160 kids now.
Cool.
And it's amazing what God's done there. I can't take credit.
Gosh. Well, thank you for sharing your story. And Paula, thank you for sharing your story and your award and all the good work you both are doing to our community. This is what makes Savannah so incredible. It's just folks like you coming together and making things happen.
Well, Bonnie, I will tell you, I'm a big 5K or 10K or half marathon, but I always walk. So I will be happy to join in your virtual 5K for sure.
Well, thank you. Thank you. How do I do that? How do I just email her a link to y'all, or how do we do that?
So, what's the website that they can sign up, that Paula can sign up? faithetc.org.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh, I think you do one every weekend, don't you? I mean, or at least once a month.
Pretty much. Well, this weekend on Saturday and Sunday, Breezy and I did a 10K on Saturday and a 5K yesterday.
Wow.
We're out there all the time. I love walking. It's really meditative for me, for sure. So this is an easy thing to do.
We thought it was a great way for people to give back, but get something healthy for themselves during this time.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And so I would be not doing the force well if I didn't say, may the 4th be with you today.
That's great. That's great. Tomorrow. Not that any of us can do anything.
And tomorrow is Giving Tuesday, right?
That's right. That's right.
So if anybody has that stimulus check and they're looking for a way to pay it forward, maybe tomorrow is a good day to consider that with Healthy Savannah, with Faith Equestrian Center. It's, a lot of people are hurting right now. And if you have the means, then there's a lot of opportunity out there.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for being on Community Headlines Live. And everybody, we will see you next Monday morning at 9 a.m.
Thank you, Marjorie, for inviting me on today.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.